Yes.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today. So again, as we were saying before, my name is Franco. I'm from New York. I'm the rep for New Mexico for Classcraft. And I guess if you're not familiar with Classcraft, what we do is we use game mechanics to help promote the positive behaviors for your students. So I can go ahead and I'll just share my screen, take you through a little I need one sec. Yeah. I'll take you through a little demo, quick 30 minutes. If you have any questions too during, just shout them out and we can just, talk about any questions you might have. Can you see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is what it looks like when a teacher logs into Classcraft. So you'll have all your different classes here listed below. So we integrate with Google Classroom. We integrate with Clever and ClassLink as well for rostering. So when I'll click into this third period, and this is your classroom dashboard, right? So this is where you would kind of live as a teacher, where you're able to see all the different students in your class, and you can easily give them points for showing the positive behaviors. So you could use this like while you're on your phone or a tablet as you're walking around class. It's just as quick. You're able to use this just as quickly as like giving a quick high five, right? But why are we giving out these points? So I'll click view profile, and you can see here every student has their own avatar. And they start off with a pretty bland avatar, and then the way that they're able to upgrade their avatar, make it look as cool as possible. Some students, they want to make it look as goofy as possible, is by showing those positive behaviors you're looking to encourage. So again, I'll click this plus sign, and these are your behaviors. So you start off with school-wide behaviors. So these are behaviors that, whatever initiatives the administration wants to push out, you can have them in here. And then you also have your classroom behaviors. So this is for like the teachers, where you can make your own behaviors that are tailored specifically to your classroom. You don't have to as a teacher, but if you wanted to, anything specific to your classroom, you can. And even if you see someone doing something good, you can give a quick reward and just write it in whenever you want. There's also this pyramid here at the top right corner. If I click this is where you're actually able to incorporate IEPs and behavior plans as well. So you can create a specific behavior and tag that one student. So these are all Diego's behaviors. So only Diego is able to see these, and the teachers. Other students can't see these behaviors, and Diego knows exactly what's expected of him. So once I do click into a behavior, those points go directly into Diego's account. So he gains a little bit of experience points, or XP, which is like traditional in a video game where that's how you're going to level up. And then you have your GP or gold pieces. And so you'll gain a little bit of XP every time and a little bit of GP every time as well. And your gold pieces are your digital currency. So that's how the students are going to be able to buy new gear for their character. And again, if you have any questions, just stop me, shout it out. I'll be happy to answer anything. And then we have crystals, and crystals are used to unlock powers. And powers are really what get the kids, especially the older students, really, really involved and motivated. Powers are real life rewards and real life privileges. So a lot of schools too, they'll send out a survey to all their students saying, what kind of powers do you want to see in here? Students will answer it, you'll put it in. And what's really cool about it is that then it ends up being things that the students actually really want and what they actually really want to do. So they will participate, they will show those positive behaviors so they can unlock these real life rewards. And the rewards could be like get a hint on an exam question, get to work with work with a buddy on a homework assignment, get a hall pass, right? Get to like be on your phone for 5 minutes in class, just different things like that the students really want to do. And it gives them a little bit of autonomy in their day as well. Students are also able to work in teams. So you can see here, we have a few different teams here. And so students are actually able to use their powers to help each other within their team as well. So I could use a power, like say Brian here had a negative behavior for chewing gum in class and he was about to lose a point. If I'm on his team, I'm able to use my powers to stop him from losing that point. But it'll still be a data point for you that he was chewing gum in class, if that makes sense. Any questions here on the class dashboard at all? Okie dokie, I'll keep moving forward. So these are the class tools. So these are different things that the teachers can use within their classroom if they want to. So these are totally optional, but these are just some different like classroom management tools. Like this one's a random picker. Just basically picks out a student at random and also gets to show off the student's avatar as well. So you take away that unconscious bias or students being like, oh, I'm always getting picked on, different things like that too. Here we have a random event. So a lot of teachers like to use this in the very beginning of the class or in the middle of the class as like a brain break or, just to get all the students settled in the beginning of the class. So everyone get in your seat and we'll do this event. And what's cool about it is that the teacher doesn't know what the random event is and the students don't know. So this one is random team gains 150 points, but they have to speak with a pirate accent. Everybody has to call the teacher captain. Some are like, every student in the class has to tell a dad joke. The best joke wins some points. So just like quick things that are just fun for the students, and then you can get right back into work. Our most popular one is here, the volume meter. So this is if you're doing group work, you can set a reward and you can add on a timer. So if you're doing group work in the classroom, you can put this up in the front of your class and you can see as I'm talking, the microphone on the computer is picking this up. And you can choose how loud you want to let your students be by changing the max threshold. And let's say like they get a little bit too loud here. We scared away the spirits. Your treasure's been cut in half. So you still are going to get a reward. It's just half of what you were going to get beforehand. And if they break it again, it'd be cut in half again, and so on and so on. But once you do finish out the timer, every student in the class will receive these points. Here we have a boss battle, which is like a formative review. And this is more of just like an interactive in-class quiz that you could do. You can do it either individually or within teams. I think the best way to do this is within your teams because the students get to work together to kind of take down this monster. So you can ask a question verbally or write it in here, however you want to do it. And they get the question right. This monster is going to take some damage. The students they get pretty excited that they gave some damage to the monster. But if they get the question wrong, they're going to take some damage as well. And the whole point is to beat the monster. Look like we didn't get to do this time. Maybe we need to work a little bit more on the subject before we can move forward. And lastly on here is our kudos. And our kudos are where students are actually able to give each other shout outs. So you can see here, Diego is giving Heidi a shout out. You did wonderful on the project. And what's really cool about this is that Heidi is going to receive points for receiving a kudos. And Diego is also going to receive points for giving one out. So it's a little bit of incentive to have that peer-to-peer recognition. Everything that does get sent to the gets sent to the teacher first, so they can go in here, they can view it, they could send it back and request changes or something's inappropriate, or they can approve it to the wall. And then once you approve it to the wall, you can present them. And a lot of teachers just like to present these on Fridays. And it's just nice because you're able to show off the student's avatar and you can see the reason why they got their kudos too for the entire class to see. Any questions on the class tools?
Well, Franco, it looks like, really exciting for students. I'm just wondering, for the kudos part, how does the system have a way of telling the teacher, for example, students that are left out that didn't get kudos?
I'm not sure if that is a really great idea. That there isn't a way to see that. We have you can go into like the data side and see reasons why students have received points. And then you can kind of filter it by, specific points. So you'd be able to see like who's receiving kudos and who's not. But I don't think there's an actual like notification that lets you know.
Yeah, and the reason I'm asking is, we're in the age of, equity, and of course being inclusive and making sure that no students feel, like left out or bullied or picked on, things like that. So I just think that would be a really good way to make sure that if there is something there, like, hey, you know what, Pablo hasn't gotten a kudos in 2 days.
Yeah.
It'd be something great for the teacher to kind of know, hey, you know what, let's find a reason to make Pablo feel, like he's also.
Like a little reminder thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I'll definitely bring that idea to our product team too.
Yeah. And the other, and it's just a curiosity. This reminds me a lot of Dojo, Classroom Dojo. So I see it's like Dojo on steroids, really.
Yeah. That we actually hear that a lot, like that actual phrase "dojo on steroids," which is pretty funny. You brought that up because like we say it all the time.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
The only, I guess, question that I would have is there a way to change the theme? And the reason I ask this is because in some schools, for whatever reason, I shouldn't say for whatever reason, that's just how it is, right? There are some schools that have a lot of religious,
Right.
So I know that they would probably have some opposition to doing so much the spiritual pieces of it. And I'm just wondering if you have a way of changing themes or something like that.
So we don't have a way to like change the themes or anything like that. But we do we have had some problems in the past that we've been able to correct. Like having swords and weapons and things like that, and like staffs with like powers and like wizardry. So we don't have anything like that anymore. It's a little bit more simpler now. And then we actually have been like working in with like some like Catholic schools and different religious schools as well, which is pretty cool. But yeah, there's no way to actually like change the actual theme.
Could you change the wording, for that one that says you scare the spirits away or things like that? Yeah, is that possible to change that or no?
As of right now, no. But that is something that we could talk about as well with like a workaround.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, no problem. And then there's also a messaging feature. So this is where you can do a class announcement, message all the students, or you can message students individually as well. But students can't message each other on here. And then there's a parent aspect. So teachers can choose to invite the parents to join. And when they do, they'd be able to see their student's avatar. They could see when and why they received positive or negative points. And they can also give out points at home, like 10 of those gold pieces, the digital currency. They can give like points at home for like taking out the trash, making their bed, just showing positive behaviors at home as well. Yeah, any more questions on this before I show you like the admin side with all the data?
No, I actually really like this piece. Yeah, because of the reinforcement and the communication.
Absolutely.
That's a huge selling thing. Yeah, thank you.
Cool, yeah. And the messages can be translated back and forth as well. We have a bunch of different languages. I don't know them all off the top of my head, but let's say like we sent this in English, it could be received in Spanish.
Is there a way to do it like attachments?
Yeah, you could put in attachments, yes. Mhm. So you could, yeah, if you wanted to send like pictures or things like that, or GIFs, whatever you want to do, you could do that. So this is what it would look like as a district, and then you can see all the different schools here listed below. So I'll click into this middle school. And you start off with an engagement score. So pretty much like how engaged the students, sorry, my internet's been so bad today. So you can see how engaged the students and the teachers are in Classcraft, just a quick little snapshot. But this is where it gets pretty cool. You can dive into the student behavior. So you can see the most common positive behaviors given out in the entire school. You can see what students have been receiving those positive behaviors. You can see the same thing for negative behaviors as well. And you can start to dive in and get a little bit deeper. So maybe you can tag students however you want. You know how we were talking before about the specific behaviors and the IEPs for the students? You can actually tag students as many times. So maybe you want to see everyone in grade 5. So you can see all the most common positive behaviors in grade 5 and what students have been receiving the most common positive behaviors. And this, again, the same thing with negative behaviors too. Maybe, you know, you want to see everyone who has Mrs. Smith, the most common positive behaviors with Mrs. Smith, or everyone in the school with ADHD. You can just keep getting deeper and deeper into the data depending on your tags. You can filter the date ranges to however you want, and everything can be exported to CSV and Excel. You can also go into teacher engagement. So you can see the most active teachers, which ones are giving out the most positive points, what teachers are giving out the most negative points too, to kind of keep them on that 3-to-1 ratio of positive and negative behaviors. You can see who is using the class tools, which ones are more popular. And you can see actually who's speaking with the students and who's speaking with parents as well. Then you'd have kudos again, where this would just be like a school-wide kudos instead of just the single classroom kudos. And then this is collective feedback. So collective feedback is where you can have anyone in your school, any staff member in your school. So like your lunch people, your bus drivers, maybe custodians. If they are walking around the school and they see something, they can search a student by name and give points to that student for showing positive behaviors. This is also meant for your admin team, like your principals, to walk around the school and also give points for those same reasons for seeing something. So all you'd have to do is just click, and you can give points for like showing self-control and listening carefully while others are speaking. Confirm, and they'll go into that student's account. And this is also meant to be like be a view on your phone. It looks better on your phone. And then you have a school store. So the school store is another opportunity for students to purchase things with those gold pieces. If they don't want to spend all their gold pieces on gear for their character, they can use their gold pieces to purchase physical items at the school store. And it would just look like this, where you have a student come up to whoever's working the school store. You can click it and, you know, add whatever you want to your cart, and then confirm it, and those gold pieces get taken out of the student's account. And then lastly, we have analytics. So these are individual student analytics, which are really powerful as well. Let's start on this side. So you can see how many points they received on a given day compared to the class average, which is on this faded line. And you can see the amount of points they received. And the same thing with negative behaviors as well. But what's cool about this is you can search, maybe you want to see all the, this is through all the school-wide events, or you want to see specific teachers, right? You can see everything in a list view as well. So you can see the exact reason why they received those points, the date and the time. And this is kind of like what we like to call pre-referral data. So maybe you're looking at this and every day after lunch, Brian's acting out. There could be a bully situation at lunch. Maybe it's every day with the same teacher at the same time. There could be something going on there. You know, every 2 weeks there's split custody or something at home. But this is, yeah, you're able to intervene before you need to give a referral as well. And a lot of teachers too, they just love to print these out and bring them in for parent-teacher conferences because they have the receipts, right? You have the date and the time on everything too. But that is it in regards to just Classcraft, a quick overview. Is there anything else that you wanted to see or any questions you might have?
Do you have a like a preloaded menu of behaviors that the teachers get to select from, or do they have to type in, you know, like, let's say whatever it is, especially if it's negative, do they have to type it, you know, each time, or is there a menu?
Yeah, so they don't have to do it each time. There is a menu. So it depends on what you do during your onboarding, right? So during your onboarding, we help you come up with any specific behaviors that you want to push out school-wide. So this would be your school-wide kit, any specific initiatives that you in your school are looking to really push out, or you can go here and we have our own schools kits that you're able to use as well. So you could click into one of these and you can see like these are these different behaviors, and they also come with different powers too.
So I have a question, Franco. This is April.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really great, what I just want to follow up with what Monty was saying was like, you know, this is a lot. Like, how much backloading are you going to have to do on this program? And what you're saying is there's a team to support with setting this up and getting it established.
Yeah, absolutely. So when
onboarded.
When you do sign on with us, yeah, we kind of hold your hand through the whole thing.
Okay.
With like rostering, getting those behaviors set in. You also get 2 PD sessions with us. So if you want to do 1 PD session with your whole faculty, you can, and then 1 with your admin team, you can do that as well. We are also making it really easy for the teachers to onboard as well. So let me show you what that looks like. So instead of just coming on and getting thrown everything that Classcraft has to offer at you, teachers are being onboarded into chapters. So they start off with chapter 1, and all they get are a few class tools. That's it. So you're able to give out points for behaviors, for basic behaviors to your students. And if you want to use the volume meter in your class, you can do that as well. But once you are giving out points and you hit a certain threshold where, you know, it feels like it's becoming second nature, you're going to get prompted to move to chapter 2. As a teacher, you don't have to if you don't want to. If you like just giving out the points and only using the volume meter, you can do that. But if you want to open up a little bit more and explore, you can. So then you can move to chapter 2. And that's where you get like the messaging feature, the school store, and you'll actually get a video from one of our trainers telling you everything you're unlocking and how to use it as well. So you get your own little private training as you keep progressing through it.
Is there a way to follow up, like within the system, like let's say for the negative behaviors, you know, let's say you documented, you know, Rhonda decided she was gonna, you know, have another graffiti session in the restroom. Do you get to go back into the system and say whatever, because, you know, with the restorative justice, like you want to kind of have the student reflect on what they did and then follow up. Do you have a way of tracking that or
So we-
inputting a follow-up?
Yeah, so we do have kind of have something like that. So when you give out a negative behavior, right? You put it, that's a data point for you, but nothing happens yet. Okay. So you can go in and so you can go back in and deal that damage to them. So you go to your to-dos, and then you can deal him to lose that heart. Right? So this is where you give him a chance to redeem himself if you want, or you can make him lose that heart piece. He's not going to lose any of the progress that he's made, even if he loses a heart. But what happens when he does lose it? So let's say he's at his last heart and he's about to lose them all. So then he'll have a pledge or a restorative. Who has one here? So Diego. He'll have a pledge or restorative practice here. And if he does this, he'll earn some of his hearts back. And some could be like, get to learn something new about 3 people in the classroom that you don't usually talk to. Different things like that you're able to put in here. That's totally customizable.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions?
No, thank you. You were very thorough.
Okay, all right, cool.
Franco, you did have James. I just want to give you an opportunity. I know you came in late. But just to say hello and thank you for joining us. Franco, would you like me to stop the recording?
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Okay.